purpose, passion, and partnership. Let's talk about it. Okay. I sat here today and I got a chance to watch this show called Tamarind. I'm just getting into watching different things. I have things I watch, but it don't be daytime television other than my soap operas. Okay. But as I watched the conversation between Judge Mathis and Linda, his wife, I had not known that they had any kind of distress within their relationship. I don't keep up on celebrities' information and business. I got business of my own, but I do like Judge Mathis. I like everything that he stands for. And I kind of tuned into his frequency recently because I've been seeing him come across the commercials, certain commercials for, on the internet, stuff like that, for like different law firms and stuff like that. So I was kind of curious about what he was doing, but I didn't fully tap in. But today, honey, and thank you, Tamarind, for doing this interview with them. Because it's much needed, okay? I was not just watching a husband and wife, I was watching a spiritual pattern, okay, that has played itself out in households for many generations. What I saw was the collision between the purpose, the passion, and the partnership, okay? Many people enter relationships without ever fully understanding the mantle resting upon the life of the person that they are joining themselves to. Okay, and that goes for kings and that goes for queens. Okay, because in this day and age, we see roles where some of the men are to stay at home, right? Or they may not have the platform that their wife may have, or vice versa, the woman as well, right? They continue to have children, they continue to build, they continue to live comfortably. Okay, all right. Let me get back into this because let me do this thought before I go anywhere else. Judge Mathis has never hidden his story, who he was. He came from a broken space. He came from the streets. He carried the prayers of his mother, who saw greatness before we ever even got to see it, right? He carried the burden to change lives, to open doors, to fight injustice, and become something greater than the environment around him tried to consume him, right? Okay, all right, this is something. That kind of calling, that kind of mantle, that kind of ministry, that kind of assignment does not come without sacrifice. And I think that this story that I got to witness today falls in line with what Spirit has me out here teaching and showing you guys about generational trauma, generational karmic cycles, what happens within a bloodline when others have dropped the ball, like in my last video. I think that his story plays a part on what we need to do to live and to listen and to feel and to breathe where Spirit will have us to go so that we move in the right directions where we need to go. And I have my own story as well, okay? All right? This spirit has been cycling around for generations. And the problem is that many people admire the fruit, right? Okay, but they never stop to count the cross of the tree. And I used to hear my grandma say that all of the time, okay? And then my grandma used to always say, okay, well, you won't work in a pie factory eating pie. You feel what I'm saying? Some people get with people and don't produce, right? Or know how to produce. Man, oh man. Okay, when you are with a spouse, okay, or somebody who's prominent, a prophet, a priest in their nature, okay, in their world, the king, the dominant one within the relationship, okay? Many of those spouses that are connected to that mantle of a person, okay, will experience things others will never understand. And sometimes you lose yourself, okay? And I think that's what's happened here, okay? I feel it. The judge's spouse will experience things that people will never understand. The entrepreneur's spouse will experience things that people will never understand. You understand what I'm saying? The leader's spouse will experience things that people will never understand. When you marry a mantle, you are not simply marrying a person. That person is not ordinary, okay? That person is not to ever have any constrictions upon them, okay? All right? You are marrying to their assignments, okay? Even if you are marrying somebody, people get into the wrong relationships, okay? And that person's assignment isn't so great. Well, baby, you married that assignment, okay? Now, in those situations, we're not staying there, okay? But in his situation, when we have the example of a Judge Mathis and a Linda, okay? This is where many relationships crack because people don't understand their assignments for themselves, okay? One person is running with the vision. The other person is holding the house together. One person is building the kingdom. The other person is protecting the foundation. But both roles matter. Nobody is insignificant. Both roles carry weight. For 40 years, they stayed together. For 40 years, she had her role, he had his, okay? But somewhere along their journey, many people lose themselves, okay? Just like they did. That's just like Linda felt. Linda felt she was losing herself, okay? And this is why, because they become so busy helping someone else fulfill their destiny that they neglect their own. All right, and if I'm not mistaken, they met in college, correct? Okay, maybe somebody can chime in and let me know if I'm wrong about that. Okay, but they neglect their own journey. And then one day they wake up. Okay, ask themselves, look around, ask themselves questions. They start letting these emotions and these outside forces come in and disrupt and bring all these mucky energies because what their flesh desires doesn't line up with their needs, what they're getting. Okay? They're like, who am I outside of this marriage? Who am I? Why have I been here so long? He's rarely home. He's working, you're living comfortably, right? He's not abusive, not cheating on you. You understand what I'm saying? But then those questions and that murkiness comes, okay? The question is not always born from selfishness. Sometimes it's born from years of self-abandonment. And what I seen today showed me, oh my God, this is a message for the ages, okay? What I seen today seemed to be Linda's place of self-abandonment. Years of pouring, years of supporting, years of carrying, years of standing in the background while someone else's light shines, okay? And if that wound is never addressed, resentment begins to grow roots underground. I'm going to come back with part 2 of this video. Many of you know me, many of you don't, many of you might get with me. Stay tuned. Grace and peace.